Hello team, welcome to another ATP Geopolitics video with myself, Jonathan MS Pearce. This is a hits and losses video for today, the something of May, it's the 26th of May. I am not at home, I'm in a hotel room. Betty Pie's just going to sort this out, so there's some visuals behind me and my hotel room is disappeared. I'm sure he can work those miracles. It's another terrible night of strikes by the Russians. There are claims that the Russians have stockpiled 500 ballistic missiles. That is a rumor that's coming out at the moment. But we will start with where I normally start, didn't do so yesterday, the Ukrainian general staff figures for the Russian losses for the day before. All the usual caveats apply. You can find them in the linked in the description to the video below. 1,000 personnel lost, 4 tanks, 8 troop-carrying AFVs, so those are lower numbers than we are used to seeing. 51 artillery systems, typically high, well over double the daily average there. 1 multiple launch rocket system, 2 anti-aircraft warfare systems, and a huge number of drones and missiles from both last night and the cut-off point from the night before. So it's not so useful to go through those numbers, but they are huge. And 92 vehicles and fuel tanks, fairly high, but lower than we have seen. So somewhat lower numbers there in the loss data. When it comes to, though, the aerial threats last night, huge numbers reported. So we have, well, the infographic says it all, really. The General Staff caption, or the General Staff statement to last night's attacks were, well, it's pretty incredible night. So on the night of, well, we've got 9 cruise missiles shot, 288 enemy UAVs disabled. So 288 UAVs, and the drones featured very heavily, missiles less so, in the 364 total. So it's an absolutely huge number there. On the night of May the 26th, the enemy carried out a combined strike on Ukraine using 364 enemy air attack assets, 9 air-launched cruise missiles, and 355 Shahed attack drones. So 355 drones with 288 being shot down. That is 67, if my maths is correct, getting through. That's an absolutely staggering number of drones. Not only did they send a huge amount, but a huge amount got through. And they were sent from all the typical areas you can imagine. Now, I'm not seeing a massive amount of battle damage assessment and pictures coming out from Ukraine of the hits from those Shaheds, but there are rumors yesterday that several Patriots have been hit. There's a rumor that a Patriot was hit in Odesa. When I get back, I'm going to go through a video. I don't know if Benny can show it in the background of a supposed strike on a Patriot system in Kyiv. It looks like there are 2 launchers that are being shown on the video. The video is from Squatson's Adam. That's a very pro-Russian account. But it is useful to look at these accounts to make sure that we get a handle on what the Russians are claiming and also what the Ukrainians might be covering up. Obviously, they don't want to let on that Patriots are in a bit of trouble. So there certainly seems to be some ballistic missiles hitting at least near the Patriot firing launchers, Patriot launchers. So that is something to consider. And it could be that, because I've said before, they are going to be target number 1 for the Russians. It could be that the Ukrainians have suffered a little bit of air defense degradation, or maybe even a lot of air defense degradation. Now, I was looking at French aid to Ukraine that said, well, first of all, Yuri Ignat, the spokesman for the Ukrainian Air Force, said that Western supplied F-16 and Mirage 2005 F fighters were involved in the shooting down of missiles last night. According to Le Monde, Ukraine has reportedly run out of missiles for the 2 SAMP-T batteries and has not received a single missile for its Krotal short-range surface-to-air system in a year and a half. So the SAMP-T systems are capable of taking down ballistic missiles. They're getting another one from Italy soon. And if they've run out of missiles for them, that is an absolute shocker, really. And that they haven't received shorter range air defense missiles for the Crotale system that they'd previously been sent by the French for a year and a half. I mean, that is a shocker. The Crotale NG is an outdated surface-to-air system being replaced by a different one, the VLMICA or MICA, meaning France no longer needs to produce missiles for it, so they don't produce those. So I guess that they'll have to get them from other users of the system. But yeah, so that is definitely a challenge. Russian forces conducted their most extensive missile and drone strikes of the full-scale war over the past 48 hours. That's being widely reported. And indeed, there has been a reaction from Donald Trump, which I think is interesting. But before we get there, I'm just going to look at a couple more sources. Here's Max 25 reporting that Ukrainian skies saw over 2,000 Shahed drones in 20 days. On May the 24th to 25th, Russia launched 300 drones and 69 missiles. So this is 2 nights ago. The night before, 250 drones and 14 ballistic missiles. And then, of course, last night, huge wave yet again. In 2024, Ukraine's success rate against Shaheds was greater than 90%. And now it drops to 30% is the claim. Now, I've not seen 30% be the case at all. But the success rate of shooting them down has certainly dropped. Commander Yakut says, quote, since January, Shahed drones fly at 2,000 to 3,000 meters instead of 200. We can't reach them with our cannons anymore, according to Le Monde. So that's, again, indicating that the tactics have changed. We know as well, there are claims that the chips on the Chinese chips on these Shaheds are much more electronic warfare resistant. So you've got a change of tactics, a change in the tech, bigger warheads, and those flight paths are either high, very low, and they are adapting to the Ukrainian air defenses. So it's really challenging for the Ukrainians at the moment with regard to the Shaheds, and the Russians know that. And if they stockpiled 500 ballistic missiles, if that is true, I think that's in the Financial Times, then that is a massive, massive problem waiting to happen. Right, Donald Trump has responded. He said something in an interview as well, but this is his Truth Social post. I've always had a very good relationship with Vladimir Putin of Russia, but something has happened to him. He's gone absolutely, all caps, crazy. He is needlessly killing a lot of people, and I'm not just talking about soldiers. That's really interesting because he's very often, Trump talks only about soldiers, doesn't talk about civilians. So this is good news if he's starting to get annoyed. But as Phillips O'Brien said this morning, this is all meaningless guff. Well, he didn't use that term, but it's all it's completely meaningless unless he puts sanctions on, unless he does something about this. Otherwise, it is just another example of rhetoric, empty rhetoric. But yeah, he said, Trump says, missiles and drones are being shot into cities in Ukraine for no reason whatsoever. I've always said that he wants all of Ukraine, not just a piece of it. And maybe that's proving to be right. But if he does, it will lead to the downfall of Russia. Likewise, President Zelensky is doing his country no favors by talking the way he does. I mean, that's absolutely outrageous. Like talking the way he does, just whatever, Trump. Everything out of his mouth, he says. So this is then, this is the opportunity to slag off Russia and to call, to take Russia to task over what's happened. But then he just uses it as an excuse to have a go at Zelensky. Everything out of his mouth causes problems. I don't like it, and it better stop. And I think that's because he said yesterday just merely the silence from America and other countries is not helping. And it's not. And then that has caused Trump to actually say something, but then half the tweet is spent slagging off Zelensky. So just honestly, the man is disgusting. Everything out of his mouth causes problems. I don't like it. It better stop. This is a war that would never have started if I were president. So then he just goes back to his default, like it's all Biden's fault. This is Zelensky's, Putin's and Biden's war, not Trump's. I'm helping to put out the big and ugly fires. No, you're not. You're literally not. That have been started through gross incompetence and hatred. So the good news is he's slagging off Putin. So that is a slight change. We haven't seen that as a direct attack on Putin. saying that he has gone absolutely, quote, absolutely crazy. We haven't seen that before. But the rest of it is typical. It's Biden's war. It's Biden's fault. It's Zelensky's fault. Zelensky needs to shut up. He's not doing himself any favors, etc., etc., etc. Just really, really frustrating. In fact, yeah, this is Phillips O'Brien. Don't be fooled by any of Trump's performative BS. Unless he actually pushes for sanctions, this is the crocodile tears of a narcissistic sociopath. Also, note that he blames Zelensky as much as Putin for the war. Those bad Ukrainians asking to be invaded. So, yeah, absolute shocker there from Trump, mixed in with some interesting change of tone. So potentially could lead to some good news, but if previous form is anything to go by, it absolutely won't. Now, the only other thing that I'm going to talk about this morning very quickly is that Ukraine has attacked Russia again with drones. Now, the Russians have got a load more mobile teams, I think, working. I think they've got their conscripts to work in mobile defense teams for attacking these drones, intercepting these drones. So they are no doubt getting better at intercepting Ukrainian drones. We are aware that Ukraine targeted Elabuga again. Now, Elabuga is where they is the original Shahed manufacturing facility. I think there are now 3 also in Russia. They absolutely need to hammer these facilities. I mean, take them out once and for all. Now, they targeted Elabuga again last night. I think that's at least the 3rd time now that it's been targeted. I don't know whether that led to that couple of days where we saw fewer drones being used by the Russians. But good news that it has been targeted. I don't know the battle damage assessment. It says Kyiv Independent reports that Russian drone production site, chemical plant, and were targeted in alleged Ukrainian drone attack. Russian air defenses opened fire against drones near Elabuga drone production site in Russia's Tatarstan region, while the other drones attacked a chemical plant in Ivanova Oblast, an independent news channel Astra reported. So the Russians claim they downed 148 drones last night. So again, a pretty useful number of drones going into Russia, but only useful if they actually find their targets. So we don't know enough about that at the moment, and in fact that seems to be the case every single night at the moment. I do fear that Russia is getting better at shooting down Ukrainian drones, and Ukraine is getting worse at being able to take out Russian drones. And so that is a direction of travel that I'm not liking at all at the moment. But yeah, as I say, we'll have to wait and see. The only other thing worth mentioning, oh yes, that was that we are seeing very rarely Ukraine aiming at hydrocarbon infrastructure, and there are some people tentatively speculating maybe that the US has put pressure on Ukraine not to hit oil refineries and oil depots. They were having such great success in that previously, and they just aren't at the moment. They aren't hitting them at the moment. They're not being successful. They're not even targeting them. So something has changed there. Anyway, that's my update for today. It's not obviously as detailed as it should be and normally is, because I'm not in the UK, as some of you have answered some amusing answers as to where you think I am. But Paul Gilbert's got it right. I was last night at an Irish pub in Patagonia, just hanging out with the exiled penguins from the Marshall and Heard Islands as they're getting away from huge tariffs. So yeah, good guesses from all of you. Take care, y'all. Speak to you soon. Toodle pips.